One Piece is currently in its final saga, and the vast majority of the wars will be fought here, starting with Egghead Island. Here, the Straw Hat Pirates are already taking part in a major war, and this is just the beginning. All over the world of One Piece, major events are currently taking place, and fans are treated with several warring factions at the same time. This means a lot of new characters get introduced, and quite easily the most significant one that has made his appearance in the final saga of One Piece is Saint Garling, one of the Celestial Dragons. While fans presume the vast majority of the Celestial Dragons to be very weak, there are some who hold a completely different level of strength. Saint Garling is certainly one of them, and he's very powerful. Who is Garling Figarland? Garling Figarland was introduced to fans shortly after Sabo's Reverie flashback finally ended. In this flashback, Sabo explained to Dragon and Ivankov what happened on the day of the Reverie, and how King Cobra ended up dying, and he escaped from the Holy Land. Shortly after, fans were introduced to a completely new character who was revealed to be a very influential figure, known by the name of Saint Garling Figarland at the time. Saint Garling was exacting punishment on one of the Celestial Dragons, Saint Miosgard. As fans know, Miosgard is one of the most influential people in the entire world, being one of the Celestial Dragons. These Celestial Dragons can control the Admirals at the tip of their fingers, yet he was being judged by Saint Garling. This only goes to show how much authority Saint Garling truly has. Along with having tremendous authority and being able to pass judgment on Celestial Dragons, Saint Garling is certainly very strong, given that he commands the Holy Knights, who are believed to be the combative forces of the Celestial Dragons living in Mariejo. The most intriguing part about Saint Garling is not the fact that he leads to Holy Knights, but the fact that he's the leader of the Figarland family. For those who don't know, this family was first mentioned in One Piece film Red. When Yuta was revealed to be the daughter of Shanks, the five elders were wondering if she carried Figarland blood in her veins. This meant that Shanks was actually a member of the Figarland family, and that he holds connections to none other than Saint Garling. Perhaps Saint Garling is Shanks' dad, and given that Shanks was found by the Roger Pirates on God Valley, which fans also know is the place where Saint Garling fought, things finally start to connect. This connection also gives the fans an idea of how strong Saint Garling is, the supreme commander of the Holy Knights. The very first thing that indicates the strength of Saint Garling is his very position within the hierarchy of the world government. Saint Garling is the leader of the Holy Knights. As mentioned earlier, to be more specific, he is the supreme commander of the Holy Knights, meaning he stands over all of them, and this group is believed to be strong enough to take up arms against the Revolutionary Army. Dragon and all the other powerful commanders of the Revolutionary Army fully expect the Holy Knights to descend from Mariejo and engage them in combat. This means they must be a very powerful force, strong enough to rival the Revolutionary Army, and if that is the case, then fans absolutely should expect Saint Garling to be a top-tier fighter, perhaps in the same league as Dragon himself. Saint Garling is also one of the highest-ranking members of the Celestial Dragons. It must be remembered that he has the power to pass judgment on normal Celestial Dragons, which means that Saint Garling is above them in terms of authority and power. This also means that Saint Garling has the third highest authority in the entire world government. The highest authority would belong to the de facto ruler of the world government, Imu. After them come the five elders, and it appears that directly after the five elders is none other than Saint Garling. The fact that Saint Garling is so high up the pecking order means that his strength is going to be absolutely tremendous. If that wasn't enough, then fans should absolutely consider the fact that 38 years ago, on the island of God Valley, Saint Garling was crowned the champion. He was believed to be the favorite to win the native hunting games, and, at the same time, it was quite clear to see that his strength was not normal. Even when he had 10,000 points docked before the competition began, he was still crowned the champion of this place, and, knowing that the Rocks Pirates later invaded the island, the fact that Garling was still crowned the champion and remains alive to this day, and has only ascended in terms of power, just goes to show how influential and powerful this figure truly is. Garling's Haki and Devil Fruit. Saint Garling most definitely has strong Haki. That is the very minimum that fans should expect from him. He should be a user of both observation and armament Haki, and he should be able to utilize them at a very high level. Fans should expect him to be very strong in terms of Haki. Without this power, he absolutely cannot stand a chance against the likes of the Revolutionary Army, where even the most basic members are equipped with this skill. Even though it is not confirmed that he possesses haki, fans should absolutely expect him to be the master of this skill. Furthermore, it should not come as a surprise to fans if St. Garling possesses Conqueror's haki as well. Fans must remember that Garling has blood connections to none other than Shanks. Conqueror's haki is a power that can be passed on, and, given that same Garling has connections to one of the strongest, if not the strongest, Conqueror's haki user in One Piece, he should have this power as well. Further backing of this can be given through the fact that St. Garling is the head of the Figarland family and, thus, a descendant of the founding 20 kings. He has king's blood in him, and this king's blood is enough to give him access to the color of the Supreme King. When it comes to devil fruit powers, fans do not know if he possesses one or not. However, curiously enough, on the island of God Valley, 38 years ago, there appeared to be many devil fruits as rewards for winning the native hunting competition. This is likely where the pirates got their devil fruits from. Fans have already been told that Big Mom gave Kaido his devil fruit in God Valley, likely after stealing it from the native hunting competition. The fact that Garling was the champion of God Valley means that the highest reward should have, logically, been awarded to him. This means St. Garling could have a very dangerous devil fruit power, and, given that the highest authorities of the world government, such as Emu and the 5 elders, have incredible abilities, that idea that he could have won cannot be discarded either. A lot of this is speculative, however. It is only a matter of time before all this is confirmed and St. Garling is revealed to be one of the strongest fighters in the One Piece world, possibly on the same level as the Yonko. And in other news, One Piece, Oda confirms who is stronger between the Yonko and the Admirals. One Piece is currently in the Final Saga, and the grandest of battles are taking place in the story already. The Final Saga began with Egghead Island, with Luffy having become a Yonko very recently. It was quite clear that the intensity of the series was going to go through the roof as soon as the story entered the Final Saga, and that is precisely what happened. On Egghead Island, Luffy and the Straw Hat Pirates are up against 100 Navy battleships of all sizes and, at the same time, 30,000 Marines. Among the Marines are 9 Vice Admirals, and also an Admiral of the Navy, Admiral Kizaru. As soon as fans realized that Kizaru was going to be on Egghead, it became clear that Luffy was going to fight against him, and the age-old debate of Yonko versus Admiral was going to be answered. The strength of the Yonko. The Yonko are the 4 most powerful pirates on the seas. They are incredibly dangerous and rule the new world like kings. The Yonko are exceptionally overpowered and hold an influence that even terrifies the world government to a certain degree. In fact, engaging a Yonko is something that the Marines can't even do without permission. The strength of a Yonko is certainly incredible, and it is safe to say that the strongest characters in the story have been these people. For instance, Whitebeard, the strongest man in the world, was one of the 4 emperors of the sea. Kaido, who was the strongest pirate until recently, also held the position of Yonko. Shanks is known to be one of the strongest in the world, if not the strongest, and, now, Luffy has ascended to this position as well. All things point towards the Yonko being extremely overpowered, and much of that is down to the fact that they possess not just incredible devil fruits in most cases, but also terrific haki. The strongest weapon of any Yonko in One Piece, except for Buggy, is most certainly haki. These people are conquerors, and, given that they possess so much ambition, they can utilize Conqueror's haki at the highest level. This haki allows them to land deadly blows on their enemies. As Kaido put it himself, only a handful of the strongest can utilize the power of Conqueror's haki infusion, and those who are capable of reaching the very top. The Yonko versus Admiral debate. When compared to the Yonko, the Admirals are strong as well. They command impressive control of haki, and they have overpowered devil fruits as well. They can take on nearly anyone in the world of One Piece, and their bounties issued by the Cross Guild equate to 3 billion berries as well. This is the same amount that Luffy has on his head, and just goes to show that the Admirals are comparable to the Yonko, at the very least. However, being comparable is not the same as being equal to them or being stronger. Given that the Yonko are incredibly powerful, the Marines, who have always opposed the pirates since they are the military face of the world government, needed a certain equipment equivalent. Of course, the strongest of the Marines are the Admirals, and it was inevitable for them to be compared with the Yonko. This became even clearer during the Marineford War, where some admirals fought against Whitebeard and did relatively well. However, quite a lot of the time, they ended up fighting against the Yonko commanders as well. The fact that they triumphed over them, largely due to distractions, was enough for fans to forward the idea that the admirals are just as strong as the Yonko. However, it appears that this debate has finally ended after the recent One Piece chapters. Luffy versus Kizaru. In the Egghead Island arc of One Piece, Luffy ended up fighting against Kizaru, and this fight was extremely interesting. Although short-lived, Luffy was able to trade blows with him in Snakeman first, and it was quite clear that Kizaru was easily able to take care of him in this form. Kizaru even kicked him hard enough to the point where he flew directly out of the Frontier Dome, injuring himself in the process. However, once Luffy took on Gear 5, the combat became much more interesting. Kizaru was not able to defeat Luffy in Gear 5. In fact, he completely avoided fighting against him in this form. Kizaru made sure to prioritize assassinating Vegapunk instead, and this was likely done because he realized that beating Luffy was not going to be easy for him at all, and most likely a task that would see him get defeated in the end. That is precisely what ended up happening towards the end of the battle, where Luffy used a new technique called White Star Gun, which was infused with Conqueror's Haki and struck Kizaru directly on the head. This blow was so powerful that Kizaru ended up getting knocked down. Initially, it was unclear as to how much damage this technique actually did. However, when the aftermath of the technique was seen, it was quite clear to see that Kizaru was not in fighting condition any longer. This goes to show that Luffy, who has newly become one of the Yonko, is still strong enough to take care of Kizaru in battle. Oda confirms Yonko are stronger than admirals. With the fight between Luffy and Kizaru concluding, it has now become clear that the Yonko are, indeed, stronger than the admirals. For one, Luffy was able to knock him down completely to the point where he became immobilized. While it is true that Luffy himself went out of Gear 5 and is in a state that is no better than that of Kizaru, it must be remembered that Luffy fought against Lucci not long ago using Gear 5 and burned up quite a lot of his energy. If that wasn't enough, he then proceeded to fight against the Seraphims for an entire night, and then the morning after, he fought against the Admiral. While Kizaru entered the battle completely fresh, Luffy had already exhausted quite a lot of his energy while fighting. Furthermore, it must be noted that Luffy has become a Yonko only recently. When compared to the other powerful Yonko, Luffy is likely not the strongest at the time. He still has issues maintaining Gear 5 for long, and if that were not to be the case, Kizaru would stand absolutely no chance against him. For instance, someone like Shanks, who can utilize observation Haki better than Luffy and, at the same time, commands Conqueror's Haki at a much higher level as well, would easily destroy Kizaru in battle. This was further hinted at when Shanks and his pirate crew threatened Green Bull. The Marine Admiral instantly knew that he did not stand a chance and gave up, deciding to leave Wano immediately after. Now, it is clear for everyone to see that the Yonko are indeed stronger than the Admirals, and this has now been confirmed once and for all. That's a wrap for this video. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel. We'll be back with more amazing videos very soon.